Well, look, the great thing about this race, and it's a function of our IRC rating system, is that a tiny boat can race against some of the world's biggest boats, and there's a chance of the little boat beating the big boat overall.
Well, obviously, we really hope to get in before the race is over. We've got to keep up a high average speed, and we are going to suffer on the upward leg. We've only got a 30-foot waterline.
I mean, there are some absolutely fabulous boats here. We have the new Rambler, which is an amazing yacht. We have Fauth, and if the wind is right, could well beat the record.
We've done it twice so far on a catamaran, and now we're here to do it on 3 hulls. And on board the boat, I'm going to be learning everything about the Mod 70 and primarily a helmsman.
And the capacity of boat speed is quite impressive, 27, 28, and reaching 35, 36, no problem.
My name's Paul Larson. The boat is Paradox, a 63-foot trimaran. If this boat can go out and skin Rambler, I think that's pretty cool. It still shows that multi-hulls, they punch well above their weight.
A whole series of some very, very large boats, and we go right down to guys, 3 or 4 friends sailing together on a 40-footer or a 35-footer.
I sail with a friend, Eric Leroy. Always sail to Ended.
Got a bit of unfinished business because Jack and I couldn't complete the course 3 years ago.
The trick is to sleep often.
Sleeping obviously is going to be a key thing because we didn't manage to do that last time very much.
We hope our campaign will be more successful than Napoleon's one.
Well, can we rename this boat Victory then?
Well, for us it's a nice race. It's a wonderful event, and we was passing over here, was on the road, but it's a nice boat, and I'm sure we will enjoy the race.
Well, the race really for us is with Tonnerre.
The handicap difference between us and Sorcha is, I think, 8 minutes for the whole race, so it's basically a match race the whole way around the course.
2011, I think it was the first year we did the race, we had 22 competitors. So now we're up to 68, just a few years later. Words got out, and this year we have some absolutely amazing boats and some fabulous sailors, literally some of the world's best sailors. So it's a huge success.
another course record to go with Fastnet and Cargo Mac and all sorts of ones around the world. So yeah, this is a classic one because Antigua is very close to my heart.
Oh, this is good. This is really good. You know, we needed a win, so I guess we have one. Came about sort of like it was meant to be, and it's been wonderful. We learned a lot, and having Michelle sort of coaching me on learning how to drive one of these things has been a terrifyingly fun experience.
It was a pleasure for me to sail with, to have fun. If the wind was better today, then we finished earlier. Well, it's a good time to have dinner, in fact.
You know, he kept sort of pushing me, which is a bit like riding on a fast motorcycle with somebody else's hand on the throttle. It's a bit of a scary experience, but he kept showing me the limits, and every time I started to get comfortable with the boat, he would have the guys winding on the sails further and further until I was uncomfortable again. So he wasn't happy until I was unhappy, but you know, it was great. It was really great. Yeah. He's a wonderful teacher.
This time was a little tougher than the last couple of times. As I remember, I think the breeze was 10 degrees more right. And we were going along fetching and going like 14 knots. And we should have been going 20. We passed Paradox, I guess, in the stealth zone where it's blocked out. So you probably didn't see that happen. And I was surprised. We got away from it pretty quick.
Next to Rambler in the middle of the night, racing on your try, and you're on that helm, and you know there's a boat full of hot shots over there, the latest state of the art off some island in the Caribbean, and you know your primary foul weather gear is your board shorts and some sunscreen, you know, and you're sitting there going, this is the good stuff, you know, this is why you go sailing. But anyway, they got through us.
We got through the Guadeloupe lead better than they did. I don't know why. I guess I was thinking taller rig. Probably was the reason why we got out of there.
I think it's a pretty intense race. It's got a lot of corners on it. Not a lot of time to think about life too much.
Tacked on them, but unfortunately just after we tacked on them, after about a minute or two, we broke a jib lead. And we had one on the other side broke, surprise, surprise, and we tacked back. So we lost a little bit of time there, and they a little bit ahead of us there.
Rambler had sort of broken out ahead of us at that point, and from then on it was pretty much free sailing the whole way.
We had some damage with the boat 3 days before the start on what had intended on being our crew training session, and you know, we did one peel practice changing sails on the dock.
Series of sprints, and like most sprinters, you know, every race is different. We tried to make a couple of minutes at every corner. You know, 12 corners, 3 minutes a corner, that's real time.
As we're racing the clock as much as we can, but you know, we got to race against Maserati for a lot of the race, and that always makes a big difference. You know, you've got someone to boat on boat with. We're very surprised to be boat on boating with the Volvo 70, obviously.
Great team, great afterguard. I didn't do I mean, those guys not only can think, they can steer, and they're fun.
Haps loves this race, and he's invested a lot in trying to get a good performance. So yeah, we're pleased, mainly sitting on the dock here now because we didn't leave anything on the table.
It's physical. It's way more physical than the old boat, and you know, we've got some big guys in the boat, and everyone's done their bit, and everyone's sort of put the hours in turning the handle.
There's the rest of them, ton air behind.
We come up with a bit of a plan, and I had a pretty firm idea of exactly where we wanted to go, and we did it. I mean, we couldn't look over our shoulders and become reactionary.
We caught 2 lobster pots, unfortunately, which held us back. We've got ton air on the left here. We've been dueling with them all night.
To use them as a good reference point, i.e. how much time did we leave on the race course, and looking back at the elapsed time now, I think that probably gets by 5 or 6 miles. It was actually fantastic to have 2 boats of a very similar performance curve. You know, we would stretch away in certain conditions and then they'd come into us. We had a very different strategy getting around the lee of St Kitts and Nevis, and you know, we think we gained lots on them then, but they got back into us at the top. So.
Who's that, Al? Who's that, Al? Who was that boat?
So after 600 miles, you know, for the first time we've raced this boat offshore, I think it's a pretty good start for us.
Longest leg of the race, all the way to Guadeloupe. We're just about halfway along with Montserrat in the background.
We've really struggled at Guadeloupe 2 years in a row, and I think, you know, having lost 7 hours one year, maybe 4 hours last year, and I think probably lost half an hour this year.
We could see a red light behind us, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger at one stage, and then all of a sudden they got smaller and smaller and smaller, and then we never saw them again. So, you know, it's probably more luck than design, but yeah, no, it worked out pretty well.
There's very little we can be disappointed with aside from, I think, what happened to Guadeloupe, but again, it's one day, could have gone either way, I guess.
Sadly, we got off to a great start, but within 15 minutes we lost our J2. The achievement is to go around the course. I've done 4 of these races, it's only the second time that I've finished. And it's just a very moving experience to come to the finish, having sailed with this team. Having had good fun together, but knowing that you had done a very, very serious yacht race.
Poor Athos had to pull out, so it's a bit of a Pyrrhic victory really when they pulled out. But we had given them quite a good showing up until that point, and but we were desperately sorry to see them, you know, limp home, because the second half, you know, where there was all to play for, and we'd set up beautifully. They were going to go to the leeward side of Montserrat, which they did last year, and we set up to do the windward side, which we did last year. So there was a battle royal about to go, and we were sad that we never got to see the denouement, but another year.
Ross and I on Scarlet Oyster, we have a bit of history, so we weren't out of sight the whole race. So literally boat on boat racing from start to finish. You know, just after the start, he was the first boat to be on our case. To match race 600 miles against him was good fun. Good fun, and it kept us focused and working hard.
I rather imagine that the French have beaten us. You know, she's basically a cruising boat, and we thought we'd have a crack at it and see how she does short-handed, and she's proved to be fantastic.
It's 1:05. We've just had a few beers. We've just finished the RORC 600. It was wet. Yeah, it was a long final upwind leg, and I'm happy that last leg's over. I think if we had thought about it more as an upwind race, we probably could have prepped better for it. So I think next time, and there will be a next time, I'm gonna practice a lot more.
Not so sure I can put my finger on it 100%, but it was an amazing atmosphere before the race. And as usual, of course, we had spectacular weather, wonderful nature. There was an amazing meteor shower one night. Lots of people saw whales and turtles, lovely warm sailing. So all these elements made for, I think, a very, very special race. There were stories on every boat, and some of them were, delightful, moving stories. There were boats from all over the world. There were Italians and Spanish and British and Americans. There was a South African crew. So we are obviously very, very pleased with the way that everything went, and already anticipating what we're going to do for 2016, what we keep.